Right. My pictures fell off the wall. Is that good or bad that the pictures fell off the wall? I don't know. Not sure which one there. Well, good evening to you, James. The volume up that when I signed it. Oh, yeah, well, I got it because yesterday I guess supposedly it didn't work. I don't know. Um, like I said, I had to put some new songs on and stuff like that and mix it around a little bit. All right, let's kill this. All right. Oh, I still have all the yellows up there. Apply filter. All right. Oh man, I'm tired. So obviously we were up last night, and then of course I get off at chart school, and I'm typically pretty jacked when we get off chart school. If you guys can't tell. And then I was like, all right, I gotta go to sleep because I gotta wake up at, like 6:30 this morning because I had to take the kids over to camp. And I'm gonna tell you a quick funny story before we jump in. But so I'm taking Waze, and Waze decided to take me through this neighborhood, and I had to explain to my kids, I'm like, guys, this is like hacking. Like we're not on the main road, we're going through this neighborhood because it'll be faster. And then I got in one of these things where it was like one lane on one side, this big like kind of grass median, and one lane on the other side. As soon as we turned on there, um, a recycling truck pulled in front of us, and literally every 8 feet it stopped for the next person in this like duplex neighborhood, and it took like 10 extra minutes. I was like ready to kill this guy. So that's how the morning started off. It took an hour and a half to get there, and then of course my kid melts down. That's why I was trying to get rid of my 9-year-old earlier today, and yeah, so I finally got back, and it was like one of those days where it just wasn't the most productive day. So yeah. And then obviously tonight and then tomorrow morning, it's like, oh, I'll get to sleep in a little bit. So, all right. So let's look at 24-hour pip changes. So I love this one over here, the pound yen on the right-hand side. If you guys can see my mouse, look at this, minus 17 in 24 hours, right? Blazing, absolutely blazing, right? And then you have like, the dollar yen up 13. Really nothing is crazy except the euro dollar, 55, pretty close to its ATR in 24 hours. That's about the only thing. And again, we talked about that euro finally hitting some weakness, right? We talked about it in the euro pound. And again, it stepped in, euro pound, euro yen, and euro dollar. So again, you guys can see it. And again, most of it is, not obviously in the last hour. Most of it was from this morning. Now it's kind of mixed back and forth again with 0.02% down, but really not much change in many of these things. Obviously, Aussie dollar again 42 is pretty close to the ATR. I think that's one actually we started yesterday. This is the one that Josh was asking about. He had the uptrend set up, and I said be careful because it stopped and it turned, and that pullback came because we were hitting a zone. And again, that could be, again, we'll look at that and you see both the Aussie pairs had that issue. Okay. But as far as news goes today, nothing. The only thing that really came out of today, news-wise, is this guy, Johnson, right? Boris Johnson. I've already heard the guy speak, and I already think he's crazy. So we'll see. I know he's a Brexiteer, and Europe's like, yeah, we're not falling for this. But again, he's like, we're going to leave one way or the other, and Europe was kind of like, all right, and so it's going to be a kind of an interesting scenario. But at least, again, we do have somebody new. We know who's stepping in. He gets, I get put in, I guess officially gets signed in tomorrow during the day. So it was pretty quick. We'll never again see May. We'll only be hearing of Johnson. And again, guy's a little crazy. We'll see what he does, but it'll be good because at least we're starting to get some certainty. There's that October deadline. I think he'll get something done. I did think it was interesting to say that he's going to just scrap the Irish deal. The Irish fishing thing was kind of like one of the big issues in the first one. And he was like, yeah, we're just going to scrap it. We'll just get rid of it, and it's going to be done. And people were like, yeah, he made a lot of promises, but we'll see what he can actually come through with. So don't know, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Going into tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow is the first day we really have any news. And again, we've already seen the euro dollar start to kind of turn and flip on us. Then we have PMI data coming in for tomorrow, okay? Again, it's not true European, but again, France and Germany are the two biggest economies there. You start getting some bad data for PMIs. You're already starting to get some adjustments previously down to 45. So again, this could also lead this kind of charge back to the downside. Again, we've been talking about it for a while. So We'll see. Again, I think this is lining up to what we saw technical wise, and again, we'll look at it in the charts. But again, early morning news. I guess it's late if you guys are West Coasters. And again, tonight at 11:05, if you guys are up, Lois speaking. Again, Aussie, that could be we could be seeing some movement. Even late night. We've already had some during the day, and again, you know, only bit of news for the Australian, dollar for a while. So. All right, let's go down and look at some charts. Let's start back at the top. Where is the button? There we go. Oh, hold on. So wait a second. I need to update something real quick. Let's hit this. I was like, that is wrong. I know that chart is wrong. Come on, come on, come on. And there goes the loading. Come on. And plow. There we go. All right. Let's kick to the right pair. Let that one load up. All right. There we go. So here's where you guys can see the movement inside of the Aussie. All right. Also in a couple different pairs. Again, it's still sucked inside of that blue zone, but it had a nice push. Had 2 days of flat and broke. Finally started to come back down again. You guys will see we had some movement across here. Bring this down to, we'll drop it to an hourly. Okay, you guys get a little better assessment there. Load, load, load. There we go. Very similar to kind of this pattern here, but you guys will see we had this kind of blue area of selling, right? We pushed higher, and again, just basically just tagged just the very, very top of it. Again, in a bit of a trap. Again, nice little kind of no candle. And again, the reason I dropped it down is because I wanted to see this candle in here. You guys see this hourly candle? Basically, it started and ended. No wicks, no nothing. Pushed up, which signals a lot of times a racetrack for us. And that kind of pop in here was, right there. You're looking at 12. Okay, ATR is about 7 on this pair. So again, wasn't quite double, but it's also acting as a trigger. Now again, I don't look at the hourlies too often, but I did in this case just because, again, whenever you see any type of just pop like this with kind of nothing else there, again, that's always somewhat of a signal, and you're kind of looking for a retracement. Again, went slightly above the zone. Looking on the other side, again, you can kind of see, again, a little bit more of a, a little bit different of a pop here, but again, price retraced all the way back down again to where it was supposed to. So these are just, kind of telltale signs of, again, movement back and forth. Top to bottom, again, this one would have been a little bit harder to grab at the very top, but you're talking about 30 pips top to bottom that this was able to move. So seeing candles like this, even on lower time frames, should definitely be a signal that, hey, listen, we're looking for reversal. And you can either jump in at 2 hours, you can drop to the lower time frames and even go lower than that into some of the 5 minutes or even smaller, or snag a 2 hour at the very, very end to get these retracements, okay? Don't need a lot of movement for these, particularly if you're going to trade these in Nadex, okay? But again, lower time frames, this is 30-minute. Drop this one down to the 10. And you guys can see up here at the top, we had that red, we had the green, and then we had the red close, okay, signaling this kind of retracement back down. And again, it stopped right kind of where the base was, right? It kind of came up, retested, up. So again, this start of the original move would have been back here, and that's exactly where, if you guys look to the right, that's exactly where it's sitting, right? And again, a red, a green, and then the red close. You were looking at this one, a total of about 5 pip risk, okay? So you had 5. You guys can see there it's 5, and at its peak down to here, you had about 25. So it's a 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio trade. Okay, again, smaller trade, but again, in days where you don't have tons of movement, this is how you grab some of these smaller things. Again, drop from your daily 4 and 30-minute, drop it down to hourlies, 30 minutes, 5 minutes. If I do an hourly, right, what are we doing? We do 10 multiples, right? Here's the 60, here's the 10. Okay, 60 and 10 is what I used to be able to grab these. All right, so just keep those kind of out there, cognizant of that when the markets are a little bit slower. All right, let me bring this back. Bring 240. Yeah, the euro was with you this morning. Yeah. All right. So that's where we are right now. We are approaching the bottom side again of that daily kind of that channel that's been sucking back and forth. We do have a red on the 4 hour. We do have a green, and we are pushing back into the red. Again, you guys can see, price is already kicked down here over here. But let's see let's get a good reading. I think this thing can go back down to the 74.50 area. I still firmly believe that. That's about 100 pips down from where we are right now. So we will, we'll kind of see again if we can get down to this area here. And again, the target or the trigger is still kind of this area, right? I don't know why this one's not catching up. There we go. All right. Let's go to Aussie, New Zealand. All right. So I can delete this one now. That was what we were talking about, pieces. And you'll see in this one, again, we had Aussie strength versus the New Zealand dollar, okay? Interesting enough, okay, so this one came down, it popped up and retraced, and we talked about how kind of being stuck, right? So you can see it's one here, and this is where we were last night. This kind of dropped to the downside, and it stopped, okay? Then we had a red, we had the green, we had the red, and then we had another green back up again, and it went all the way back up to the basing level, okay? When I say all the way up, we're only talking, let's see, 93 to 24, about 30 pips, okay? You guys can see on the 30-minute, again, very, very slow grind, and then boom, went all the way back up again. So for me, again, I am looking at somewhat of a retracement on this one back to the downside, just by how this got faster, and then exploded up in one candle, looking to take it back down again, all right? Now, looking over the different time frames, again, this pop came on the 30-minute, but when you look back over to the daily, you can see that price, when it skyrocketed up, it also came in this area right here, where we had these descending candles, bit of a burst, and then kind of sideways movement, and then a big push down into this buying region. So it kind of coincides with a couple different things of smaller areas. This was the kind of retest area, right? But if you're drawing a new kind of sell area for this one, it would be like this, okay? So that's kind of what we ran into. This is why I'm looking at a retracement for this one. Probably back down into this 90 area, about 25, 30 pips from where we are right now. Obviously, this is a pure currency play. This is not on Nadex. They don't carry this pair. Again, 4-hour risk on this one. Yeah, it was not huge. You're talking about 15 pips, and you're talking about back to the downside of about 45. It's about 40, so we're close to 3 to 1. But I think we could tighten that up even looking at the kind of the smaller time frame over here. Probably and maybe 10, but again, I'd like to get a bit of a retracement up and then confirmation, but I'd be willing to take this. On the pop is when I was willing to take it the first time, but if you want to wait for a little bit of a confirmation, take this back to the downside. This could also go with what we're seeing tonight with late night news. On Aussie, do you think it will flip? Did I hear that right? Yeah. Wait for Aussie dollar. I haven't done Aussie dollar yet. Aussie dollar is the next one. Aussie dollar is this one. And the answer is yes. Nope, not that one. On here. I think this one will continue to push down still. Still think this one will come back down in this area. I think this will come down to 70.13. Again, we're only 13 pips higher than that, but that's what I've been kind of talking about for 2 days. Yeah, I think this one will continue to push down. Or why that's there. Hold on one sec. Let me pull up. I'll pull this one. One's being weird again. Let me see something real quick. Let me drag Aussie yen over. Let me pop daily on that one. Yes, buy signal. I know. Yeah, that one's kind of drawing funky right now. Because here is the other one to feed. Here's the other one to feed for the Aussie dollar. Okay. Ignore my arrows. These arrows mean nothing, even though they're always going in the direction of where the signals are. Yeah, see, this is what it's looking like, but for some reason it's not drawing it over here. Again, same data feed. I'm not sure why it's giving us a different kind of look. Okay, that's what I was thinking. I have my stop set, but just curious. Yeah, I mean, if you're short this one right now, again, you got to expect a pullback. Depending on what your target is, how close you are to the target, again, you'd be kind of trailing this to the downside. Sure why that's over there. 69.84. Yeah, it's not. I don't know why it's not drawing those things right now. Hold on, let me try something here. Let's do 10. Why is it doing that right now? Go to the end. Hold on. I don't know. I'm not sure why it's doing that. It's like it's not updating again. This is the one problem with getting external sources. We're live though. But yeah, so the current price is right, but the chart for some reason is kind of a little bit funky on this one. I don't know why it's doing that. That's weird. But anyway, yes, I am still kind of bearish on the Aussie. So yeah, it's showing us that's where it's at, but for some reason it's not drawing the candles in there. I'm not exactly sure why. So I mean, I can see. So this is what it should look like right here. This is Aussie dollar Oanda. This data feed is coming from Oanda as well. You know what? Let me try. You know what? Let me try this. Hold on. Let me try disconnecting this one. I'm gonna try to reconnect and see if it'll fill the candles in for us. I'm wondering if Ninja did like an internal update. Last time they did an internal update, this is what happened too. It gave us the correct price, but the candles were not there. See if it loads properly right now. Almost down here. I wonder why that's doing that. I'm just trying to see if I can reset it. See, it's still showing the gap over here. See, here's where price is currently. It's showing us that that's where price is, but it's not connecting the candles, which is kind of funky. I don't know. They probably did an update on it or something. You know what? Let's mix it up then. How about if it's going to be funky that way? Let me do this. I saw that on the last one too, and I was like, hopefully it would catch up. Give me one sec, guys. I will pull up a different thing over here. Actually, you know what I should do? I should pull up IG. Let me see if I can pull that one up. I need to get used to using the IG one. Open platform. All right, this is not a live IG, just FYI. But again, we can do the analysis on it, just the same. All right, so we were at Aussie dollar. All right, so we're gonna start off on the daily, and you should be able to see it right there. All right, so Daly's pushing. I'm still thinking that we're going to try to push back down to this bottom at this like 69.25 area. We're at 69.80, so there is definitely some room to run on this one. Obviously, no signal, right? Because again, this is just an IG platform. There's no indicators or anything set for this one right now. But when I'm looking at this, again, we are, basically this is an anchor break to the downside. Okay. Obviously, if we erase this, this is our current anchor. It's outside, so it's not trending. If we pull back, we were in an uptrend. The uptrend was broken when it broke anchor to the downside. So it's telling us that we should be shorting on the daily. All right. Dropping down to a 4-hour, you guys can see it's kind of the same thing. Impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse. And again, we broke through this double wick, which is not out of the ordinary. That's fine. I'm not really necessarily concerned about that. Areas I am looking for would be kind of over here, right? Would be somewhere in this area, okay, as far as a kind of a stopping point. And you're looking at, I don't know if I can make these numbers bigger. Scale, no. I'll have to figure out how to make them bigger in case we need to use it again, but whatever. So yeah, you're looking at 69.76 to 69.67, this green pullback, right? Just because this green candle here, if you guys see this green candle, nice little pop up, right? Again, clean pullback, nice pop, and retrace. So I'm not too concerned. I think we will go lower on the 4-hour. Again, 4-hour is obviously downtrend confirmed. We're obviously much through. This would probably give you, even though it's outside, it would probably give you a sideways downward bias confirmed is what it would give you. Little bit of orders in here, but again, the ultimate goal in this one would be to get down to 69.20 is where we're looking. So if we drop this down to 30 minutes, You guys can see it's pretty much just been straight down, right? Base there, you can kind of see where we're at. If it does need to grab some more orders, you guys see this wick against the wall over here. Okay, you guys can see, not that, drawings, rectangle. You guys see this wick against the wall right here? Something that we are looking for. Style, something along those lines. Okay, something like that. Adjust that like that. There you go. Something along those lines. And again, you're starting to see, I like the descending wicks. I'm a big fan of that. I like that. We got some supply being put in there right above where price currently is. Okay, so yeah, I would, if you're short this one though, my target would be 67 or 69.77 just to make sure that you get out of it in time. Okay. Here, let me pull the other, let's see, Australian yen. Workspace. Kind of similar. Again, same type of push. Let me pull this one back to the 4-hour. Yeah, it's a bit of a wick over wick here that it ran into. I think it should be able to get back down to that level. Down at the 75, basically the 75.50 range. Again, price should get down to there. It got down to 58 or 508. But I think we're, again, targets on this one, set them down into the 75. What are we at? 75.32. Okay. I think that's a pretty good one for the Aussie yen, of where this one will continue to go to. Again, large extended range candles though on these, so again, just keep, be aware of that on the smaller time frames. But again, it's really pushed through. Again, we don't have the benefit of having the oscillator up right now, but again, we've broken many levels to the downside, so I think we'll be good to kind of continue that all the way down into this level, the 75.30 area. Let me check where is it? This guy the same way. Yeah, this is what we talked about on the other one. So again, we are at this kind of impulse, corrective move, impulse. Went higher and higher and higher. You guys can see there's this kind of level of basing here. It kind of flaunted with it here, went up and went a little bit higher. I wouldn't be surprised on a lower time frame if we see what it ran into in this candle. Pushed down, broke one level. It's at a second level break right here, confirming a downtrend for us as well. I do think this one will head down. I pretty much guarantee it bounced off something secret. Yeah, there we go. That's what it's bouncing off of right in there. Okay. You guys can see. Trying to see if there's an easy way to do it, but I guess there's not. Drawing, rectangle. The birds are happy, obviously. There you go. That's what we hit and kind of turned. Little sneaky level in the 3-hour. I figured there would be something in there, but again, broken really kind of two levels of basing here to the downside. And I think this one will continue to push down too. So definitely bearish on the Aussie. Again, part of this might also be maneuvering for what the speech is going to be about tonight. Again, leak data, but it seems like everything is really pushing back and it's pulling back from levels, so not necessarily as concerned about this one going to the downside. All right, let's go over and look at Euro Pound. Go back and look at this on a daily. All right, so you can see, remember before we were inside of, that's right, to scroll, okay? So let's do, it's hard when you have no drawings up. So we had this area here, okay? Again, that's the smaller of kind of the upper area of this one. So you guys can see, again, when we broke that trend, right? We had this trend here, and we broke it, and we went sideways. And this is what we were talking about. So we had a very, very big pullback, exactly to where we thought it was going to go to. A little bit of a retrace, so a confirmed lower high, and now we have the red confirmation to the downside. So we can keep trucking this one to the down. Again, so we talked about, we saw Euro weakness day, finally had the pullback. So dropping down to the 4-hour, we can kind of get the same idea. And again, very, very big pull. Again, cute, obviously racetrack down, pull up. This was just a new spike, down again. So we are in this area that we're flaunting with. All right, so if we're going to put a drawing on this one, let's do another rectangle. I'm going to figure out what my shortcuts are on this one. You guys can see. Okay. It was really kind of formed back here. I guess I shouldn't cheat. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so I don't really think there's a whole lot left down here. We start to push through. I'm okay with taking this down, at least down to this 89.26 area. So again, I think we're starting to really kind of get in a position where we're starting to pull back again. So here's one big move. And again, if it does come back down to this level, here's where the level was formed. There's one, there's two. This would be attempt number 3. So this is attempt number 4. So this is weak. This is attempt, number 3, not super strong either, which again could potentially bring us back down to this area. Horizontal line, back over here. And this is 80, what? 88, 88, right across the board, as a potential target for a short. And again, that would be bouncing off a daily level above, and again, breaking through some things to the lower side. So again, if you're still in, I don't think there's any reason not to be in this trade. Let's go up to a 30-minute, and you guys can see this is what we're bouncing off of. Whoops. Oh, not on 4 hour. Hold on. Where were we? Major. Just leave this up there. Drop this down to a 30-minute. You guys can see this is what this areas look like, right? Bounce, hit, here, 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 pushing again. So if we get another drive towards this lower section down here at 89.50, definitely looking to get into a short. Show drawing toolbar will make your life easier. On here, I don't even know where that is. This is like the 3rd time I've opened it. Split chart, delete range, indicators. This, or is there like a drawing button? Show drawing toolbar. Oh, down here. Oh, okay. Well, that helps. Yeah. Like I said, don't play around. I don't play around with this one because I'm not trading live over here. Although Nadex will be really excited that I'm using it right now. All right, so that's why I like this one for a short. Again, you guys can see how much time it's spent here, and eventually all these orders are getting eaten up. And you can see the burst here. Again, this brings us back down to what? 89.40. So again, not a bad little area. Actually, yeah, that's it. What about a stop order below 0? Over in here somewhere? Or are you talking about a stop order to get into it as a breakout? Which one are you talking about? Yeah, I was hoping. I don't want that. I was actually looking for over here. I was trying to see if I can make these numbers bigger, but online trading, customize appearance. No. See, this is where I hate online pro things. For a breakout, you could, if you're looking to do that. But what I would do is I would like to see it clear the zone, then come back up and retest it, and then kind of push down, kind of somewhat of a momentum breakout. It's not the cleanest momentum breakout, just because again we spent so much time there in the area. I mean, if you had to shrink the area, you'd have to shrink it down to about there. Okay, that's where the original kind of piece was. If you look over here. Okay, so what you would need is a break through, retest up, and then kind of continuation down. But you're not talking about too much. Furnace, is there a measuring tool in here? I don't even know. Channel, head, shoulder. Oh, there's measure tool. It's not going to help. Nope. Where was it again? Measure tool. So you're talking about the breakout down. It's not a huge area. It's only about 14 pips. So not really a ton for that breakout. It's something you kind of had to already be in. I don't know if I would continue this one. I don't know that I'd jump into it, but that's what you'd be looking for. Here, maybe on the 4 hour, jump up to a 3. This is not really a strong piece, but again, you're talking about I don't like this drawing tool. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, I mean on the 4 hour, it's about 30 pips down. So I mean, again, if you wanted to, your risk on this one is about, it's about 7. I'm trying to do a snap. It's about 5.5, 6 pips risk. If you're going to take this one as it goes down, 5.5, 6 pip risk to go 30. So I mean, you're talking about a 5-to-1 maybe, so it's not a horrible breakout to the downside if you get the retracement, okay? And again, what that would look like is a break below, a retest up. And again, you could use this zone or you could use the basing level right here. Because see how these are descending wicks? So what you could do is if we can get price to come down below, retest up, use this as your entry. This is your entry area. And then use this as your overall target. Oops. Use this something like this as your target. Something along those lines. Okay. If you want to wait for the break above and it retest back up again. So you can either do a break from the bottom of this line, again, take 5 pips risk, but there is basing right above that gives you a little bit of a backstop. Okay. Pop down, grab it, and then continue this down into the base of this. This one I'm not concerned about. These wicks are the exact same point, top and, they both bottomed the same exact area, meaning they established in this wick and then cleared in this wick. So really not worried until we get back down to here. This is a very decent pop down, right? Down, sideways, and then boom, 3 candles up, pull back, very strong pull back, and then again, continued push. This impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse. So nice little move. This one here, again, would be a 5 for, basically a 5 for 30. 5 for 32, something along those lines. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's go across and look at euro dollar. Go back up to the 4-hour. I will go to the daily. All right, so you guys can see. Very strong push, right? And again, we started talking about this. We are right now back to the start of this move. And again, this I expected this to come down. It's moving pretty well. We're down at 111.45. We talked about breaking 111 and getting back down to this magical 111 number. People, once you break 112, people are like, ooh, 111's close. Now we're basically halfway there. But this, oh man, where's the button now? I got to find that thing again. You know what? It's just easier just to go this way. That is kind of what we're waiting for. Okay, so we need to be able to break through this zone. Okay, had you been short from back here again, this was the pop right here. This is, remember the sawtooth we talked about before on the other charts? We talked about, we had this sawing action right here. It came up, it grabbed that. This is the short that you've been in. Again, here's your target down here at the bottom. Okay, if we're able to break through this though, we're pretty clear for, again, going back to May of 2017. Okay. Again, Europe is easing. Okay. Not sure what's going to happen with the new prime minister and his kind of talks, but again, you have German PMI numbers turn out bad, and you have France's. There's no reason why this can't not only go below 111, but get down to this 110 range. 110 is right in here. Okay, so this could be a potential area that, if this goes through. Now, again, what we just talked about, that breakout trade, Josh, same thing. If it breaks through, comes up and retests this prior level, and then starts to come back down and leave this box, then here's our target. Here's our risk, okay? And then this is, we get this action right here. Okay, you have something along these lines. You have something along those lines. If we come through, retest, and drop, okay? Where the heck was that button at? Show drawing toolbar. All right, I'll get it eventually. In this case, you're risking. So it says about 20. No. All right, I'm not a fan of the drawing tool. For about 109. So again, so 20. Again, you have about 20 pips risk to the top side for about 115 to the downside for that type of breakout on the daily. All right. Let's drop this down to a 4-hour, see how that's looking. Okay, you kind of see the same thing, right? Level of basing, down, basing. Here was that top section right here. Okay. You guys had this level of basing here. Okay. Came across, hit, boom, down, formed basing. If you were trailing this one to the downside, I'd probably have you somewhere over in here at this point, 111.80-ish. Once this forms another kind of green, red, green, red to the downside, move your stop up until here. There's been a nice move from 12.80 all the way down to 11.45. Target's close though. What I would do is I would get out, wait for it to retrace down or establish some type of a base, and then play the down play on this one. But again, nice little push to the downside on the 4 hour. 3 hour, or I'm sorry, the 30 minutes not going to look too much different on this one. Yeah, you guys will see. I mean, obviously it dwindled out at the end of the day, but nice momentum down, right? Basing here, pop, down, pop, down. I mean, this is pretty nice. Again, this is after hours trading, okay? But again, German and French PMI are going to move this. You'll be able to jump on the train again. A little bit more dollar strength to the downside. All right. Let's look at the euro. Let's see, is it over here? Yeah, it's right there. Okay. Euro yen. Go back to the daily. And again, some people like this method of going daily 4 hour, 30-minute because it keeps everything on one chart. I like being able to look at all three to get kind of the total view at the same time, and that's just my opinion. Drop base drop. Yeah, that's the pattern, that kind of sideways move that we were just talking about. Again, it's daily. Nice push today, right? We had some basing. We had kind of a we had a red, green, red, a green that pulled back, a slow red, and then again, nice push today. We have broken through the bottom of this. Remember, this is for the trap right down here. This drop sideways, rally. That's what we initially did. It pushed through that. So it is now driving into this wick to the downside. Okay. Not a bad little kind of situation to be in. It's kind of like an extension, right? Dropping on the 4 hour, you can kind of see a similar pattern. Again, we kind of ran back and forth. We've pushed down. We've made a lower high, and now we're starting to drive lower. So anything dropping below 120.50, again, there could be some opportunity in this one to go short. Again, this continuation to the downside. And again, not so much that I like the trade setup on this one. I don't typically like to get into things after they've been in a downtrend for a while. And you can see really the basing in this one is here, right? There was the zone. There's the wick. You can see I don't know why it does that second one, right? Again, you guys can see it came across, tag, came up, close. Again, there was another one here. Again, that was your entry on the first one. You could have marked that off as well as another area. Okay. Target, I probably would have got out on this bounce here. But again, you're still continuing. So again, this one I'm bearish just because the other euro pairs are lined up in a similar fashion. There's nothing about this one in particular. They say, oh, I love this one. Even the basing level, not even the best area, excuse me. Not even the best area right now on this one. Okay. But I am bearish because of the other pairs in this one, if you wanted to take some type of continuation. Been a long time here. Let's see if there's anything better as far as pullbacks on the 30-minute. I don't like this one because there's 4 candles in it. So this is a drop, this is a sideways, and this is a big drop. But see these wicks in here? Here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4. So here's your established, here's your cleared, here's your established, here's your cleared. Not really as concerned about this one. And this one is a double as well. So I like this area here better. This piece here. I like that better as an entry. And again, it kind of came down, skirted along there, and then dropped and is not basing. So it's kind of wedged between that level and this level. So just be a little bit cautious between those two. It does look like it wants to kind of retrace back up again, but we're kind of wedged in between 120.70 and 120.58. So I mean, you're talking about, very, very tiny range in this one. What I would do, not that. That. For this one, what I would do is I would set myself an alert right below. Actually, you could set it at 120.50 if you have your alert software set. When these go through, again, that would be a nice time to know that it is put in a new low. It can have a continuation pattern to the downside, particularly if that down push is in a red, green, red type scenario from a level of basing right here. That wouldn't be bad. If it was able to go through, and again, the bottom of the zone is at 120.54. So if it goes through, pulls back, This is a situation where, old demand becomes new supply, okay? And that will give us the continued push to be able to jump in. And those are the type of trades that I'm definitely comfortable putting like 2-hour binaries on, a little bit farther out of the money if this moves in our direction. Particularly, again, if you can get something like this ahead of news, middle of the night NetX is not the best in picking, the volatility of options contracts, particularly when it's kind of, oh, no, particularly when it's, not a dollar-based pair. Okay, so there's a little bit of opportunity in this one. Dropping down, let's look at pound yen. Okay, so pound yen, not on the 15-minute. Let's go to pound yen on the daily. You can see this one really didn't move much. Again, we've had 3 days, 4 days now where we've been kind of just stuck in the sideways pattern. Dropping to the lower time frames, you guys can see even today, I mean, before we had this down kind of trend and then pop back up again to that same level of basing. That level of basing is here. Okay, you guys will see. There's your level of basing. Okay, that's what we ran into. Change that to a red. Okay. And it's pushed and really just stabilized itself. Like today, you guys can see in the last, 16 hours, price dropped and went high, but then it just stopped. It's at the same exact area. It really hasn't moved either way. Again, that was a little bit of the pound indecision. Hopefully tomorrow, once, Johnson gets sworn in, we should have a bit more direction on this one. I'm hoping, again, I think we can get back down to this 134 area. It's 134.02 is the start, all the way down into the 133 kind of 80 area. It's about 50 pips south of where we are right now. This is a position that I've had targeted for a while, or like kind of set up and ready to go. But unfortunately, I've been dealing with this. I haven't really quite got the entry. What I was kind of looking for triggers was a box around this kind of pullback area. As an area that I was going to be watchful for. And again, you guys can see it hit it here, it hit it here. This will be the third attempt through. And you guys can see the box under here back down is about 35, 36 pips. Okay. No, not that. And the risk in something like this is only about 6.5. Okay. So it's basically 7 for 37 is how this one comes out, a breakout to the downside. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a break of this basing level on the 30-minute based off of what we saw back here on July 18th. And again, hit once, hit twice. It did hit higher, which is kind of like, But again, this will be a third attempt through. If we do get a break, I think we can get a push back down to the start of this kind of basing / pop area down here at 133. Well, basically 134 is kind of what the target is. But a little bit lower where we start to see the descending wicks. Okay, so this is a trade that I have set up. Obviously, it's not triggered, but I'm looking for this to kind of push through, even potentially in one kind of large push. All right. Again, crazy news. It can hit it, but yeah, it is what it is. Actually, let me see something real quick. Let me pop that off. Daily indicators. Oh God, that's horrible. Yeah, you guys can see. Here's where the ATRs were high, right? And now they're like all the way over here. You can see how much they've shrunk. But I'm going to have to remove this. This is going to drive me crazy. I had to delete it at this point. There we go. All right. So again, that's my trigger for the pound yen. Going across to the pound dollar. All right. So pound dollar is a little bit different of a situation. This one is definitely rallied up. It's grabbed some orders at the top once. And right now where it is sitting is, again, not the best area on the 4-hour. Let me start on the daily and you guys will kind of see. So this one is had more pushback, right? It had this level right here, this nice little base. That's where the original entry was, went lower, came back up, grabbed more orders, and has pushed back down again. But it's sitting in the base right now, okay? You can see it on the daily, but drop into the 4-hour, okay? You guys can see a lot more base here, right? Let me go here. You guys can see a lot more sitting right there, right? I keep doing that second one. I forgot that it's click, and it's not double click, it's click, hold, drag, release. I'm clicking once and trying to click a second time. Every platform is a little bit different, all right? So again, looking for somewhat of a breakthrough. It is pushing back down towards the low. There's going to be a lot of traps set down here, though, unfortunately. You guys can see it's been a very, very long time since price has been down. The wick is also cleared, by the way. Okay, but if we get down here and we start breaking this 123.85, again, there's going to be a lot of traps on the bottom side of this one, but that's, some pretty bad news for the pound. I think we will get some pound strength tomorrow. I don't think we'll get euro strength, but I do think we're going to get some pound strength just because once Johnson gets sworn in, he'll be able to start saying things in an official kind of statement. And, it gives us kind of a foreshadow because right now he can say whatever he wants. He's not officially sworn in. Once he's officially sworn in, bam, whatever he says is technically the word at that point. And he's going to start unveiling his plans. And again, he actually has some weight behind what he says. So I think that will give the pound a little bit of strength tomorrow. I don't think it's going to give it any weakness, but I think it'll give us a little bit with certainty. I think we'll see pound strength. That's just my opinion on the pound right now. Even dropping down to the 30-minute, again, it's just you guys can see inside of that zone. We're kind of bouncing back and forth. Again, need the pound, to actually come around, and once that market opens, we'll get some movement. All right. Let's go down to dollar CAD. Okay. Dollar CAD, let's see. You guys can see dollar CAD's up 13 for the day, not super huge. Bring this back on the daily. And again, you can see large pop. Why is it saying only 13? It should be more than that. Why is it telling me 10? Hold on. That's about 76. I don't know. I'm not sure why that wasn't giving me that kind of thing. Again, inside of this range, okay, there was this kind of double trick at the bottom. Now there's this like kind of triple trick at the top side. It's not really in an area where I'm willing to sell because you guys can see this bump and this bump exactly the same. Wicks come exactly the point. So you have your established orders and your cleared orders. So really not screaming anything. There is a zone kind of right above where we are. So I'd be a lot more comfortable if we can get up into this. I did it again. If we can get back up in this 131.80 area, I would be much more comfortable in finding somewhat of a short. I'd like it to pop just a little bit more, in which case then I'd be looking to kind of take this to the downside. No CAD news per se, but you do have some oil news tomorrow. Oil, obviously, if you guys are looking at it, again, you guys can pull out your, whoo, that's huge. Why is it so big right now? You guys can see oil is back up to 57.05. So it did have a bit of a rally today. I didn't trade it or anything like that, but I can see that it is up. Again, it was a little bit higher. I guess it was up to 57.20, but now we're down to 57.04. But again, we're talking a few days ago. We were down in the low 56s. So bit of a rebound there. We'll see what the inventory numbers come in as. And again, that will affect the Canadian dollar. I don't know that there's going to be too much. Let me see. Are we going to get enough tomorrow is the question. I don't know that flash manufacturing is going to be a huge mover unless there's a bit of a surprise. You guys can see this one. They're really, really good at forecasting it. They are expecting this number to go up, which again kind of helps us, helps the dollar. But again, they're really, really good at forecasting this one. So yeah, if we can get up a little bit more, I'd be willing to short this one, I think. So this went lower. Heck of a target though. Target's a little bit too high. Yeah, it's gonna be too much. Yeah, there'll definitely be a retracement. It's not gonna move that much in one day. Yeah, if we can get up into that area, I'd probably be willing to look at something along this line. Is kind of what my kind of goal would be. Okay, something along those lines. We hit this area right here. Yeah, I'd like it to get a little bit higher. I mean, we could potentially get the confirmation in a second here of a reversal, and it is bouncing off of this kind of sideways drop area right here. You guys can see, I mean, it literally went to the very peak of it, but very, very valid zone that it ran into. This kind of 3-hour drop. You guys can see it's here. There's the zone. You guys see what it hit into? There's your red. There's your green. Did not go as high as the red. Okay. Red, green pullback, red close. There's your confirmation to the downside. There's definitely a minor, a minor reversal trade somewhere along this line. Okay. Yeah, it's something along those lines for this reversal. And again, that would be off this little 30 minute or this little 3 hour zone. Yeah. It was close. You guys can see it here. And I don't know how many of you guys are actually looking at 3 hour charts. I actually like the 3 hours a lot. I use them quite frequently, particularly when you see things like this, kind of strange turns. 4 hour, 3 hour are very similar. Like a 3 hour, 30 minute, 5 minute is also another one I'll use during the day. I use 4 hour a lot, but during the day I'll use 3 hour, 30 minute, 5 minute, and I actually like that combination pretty well. Report was out this evening. Robust up zone. That's it. Yep. The UPI report was out this evening. Okay. That's it for dollar CAD. Let me see it go over. I'm not going to go any lower on this one because that's kind of where we're set up. You guys can see the reversals. Let's go to. This is not really considered a major, but add workspace. Go back up to the daily. All right. So this one had a little, again, the dollars had kind of strength across the board. You've seen it pretty much in all, yeah, crude oil. But it's not the inventory, right? Aren't inventories still tomorrow morning? Or did they release them early? Right here. Is this not tomorrow morning? This is not right. What was there tonight? Oh, maybe did they release it early? Because I was on the assumption it was still tomorrow. Oh, it's always on Tuesday evening, unadvertised worldwide. Oh, yeah, this is the one that, well, yeah, but the actual release is the one that, you're right. James, you're totally confusing me, man. Like, wait a second, it's tomorrow still, right? I mean, it's normally Wednesday morning or Thursday if there's a break in the beginning of the week. Yeah, but you're in Texas, so I shouldn't listen to you because, of course, you guys in Texas know what the oil inventories are. You guys pump all this stuff. But that's not like, that's like insider information, James. We can't talk about that, man. All right. So now that James has totally threw me for a loop because he knows I'm tired today, and I haven't had Dairy Queen in like weeks. Um, Again, where the Swiss is pulling back, dollar strength. We've seen it across the board. Not surprised with the dollar strength. You know, was kind of expecting it. We'll see where the actual kind of I think we are going to get a little bit dollar weakness though, unfortunately tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but sometime this week. I just believe that the comments out there, and I think some of the again, I think we're going to see some pound strength, and I think that will lead to a little bit of dollar weakness. It's just going to be how much euro weaknesses are tomorrow morning. All right. Let's go over to, and this will be our final one. We'll finish up, and then I'm going to go over and smack Ninja Trader around a little bit more and see if I can get my candles to draw correctly. Like I said, they must have updated because it's been working fine for until they did the update last time. All right. Let's bring this down. And yeah, you guys can see, obviously I'm new with this platform. I've actually only opened it and done charting kind of one time. All charting platforms are essentially the same. It's just finding the buttons and figuring out where the things are. It just, this is what it takes getting used to. So I know some of you guys are trying out Ninja. This is how Ninja Trader was the first time I did it too. I'm like, wait a second, I got windows popping up everywhere. What are the order entries? What is this? You can tack the different orders on. So I mean, there's a lot of different pieces, and it just that's how every platform is. I mean, here you can see too. If I click on certain things, the order entry came up when I had things. I can hit trading. I can do buys and sells. So I mean, again, there's all different. Every platform is like this. The first platform you lose is always your favorite one because you're so used to it. This does have some of the things that FXCM had in there with kind of the scrolling, making things bigger and small. I mean, it is easy to kind of get more, real estate on there. I'll give them that. You can kind of adjust it. You can kind of grab and move it anywhere you need to back and forth. You can go, you can kind of go up and down, but it's not. It's this way or up and down. There's no like I guess you could do diagonal. I just tried that a second ago. It didn't work, but Yeah, so it just, you got to get used to new platforms. It is what it is, finding things. Um, you know, Similarity between, doing boxes where the other one you click in one corner, drag it, and then click a second time. Here, it's a click, hold it down, and when you release it, the box is there. So you can just, keep dropping boxes. Where, other ones, it's click one time, drag it to where you want, and click again. Okay. And so you do it here, but, it just be careful because if you're still dragging it, it's putting multiple things. So you guys can see there's different options. I will say I do like how you can just right click on it, and that's pretty nice. Deleting is easy, so it's not bad for a charting platform. I know you can do side by sides. There's a couple of different things, and again, it's just playing with it. Um, Ninja is not low tech redneck easy. You're absolutely right, James. It's not. But Quinn just said it. Ninja's nice because they're hotkeys. Okay, I do like the hotkeys. Hey, don't leave out Louisiana. I'm talking about oil. Yes, Ty. I know Louisiana has oil, but I have a hard time getting behind Louisiana because you guys keep building a city below seawater, and then you get nervous that it floods. So I have a hard time kind of backing you guys up over there. No, I'm just messing with you, Ty. You know I love you, Ty, but I definitely don't understand the thing. I listened to that lady last week about the hurricane, and she was like, "Yeah, it's gonna, we can't pump this much water out. There's going to be flooding, but there's nothing we can do about it." Like, yeah, I didn't even love my post. Um, um, all right, so looking at this one, I mentioned last night that I thought it was going to go with the stock market. I thought we'd have a bit more of a retracement. It did. It pulled up a little bit more. Not a super impressive day. Nothing really fantastic in this one. Obviously, the trade of the day today was obviously the euro. Looking where we are again, you guys can see we are getting into an area where we do have some descending wicks. I'll make this a little bit bigger. So funny. This platform reminds me so much of like FXCM when I first started using it with the scrolling, and I hated the scrolling. Yes, you'll see descending wicks here, descending wicks here. So we're starting to get up in an area. And again, dollar weakness. I can see this obviously coming in. We've had the dollar strength having it push back down again. Dropping down to a 4 hour and doing that analysis, you guys can see we're up to an area basing right here. Okay. There you go. Oh, I did it again. So you guys can see we are in an area again. Nice push, nice rally though, right? Impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, kind of a pullback. But this time we're in an area of sellers. So need to be a little bit more careful with it. Didn't actually go as high as the last attempt into the area. So even on the lower time frames, even though you may say, hey, listen, Brian, we're in an uptrend setup. Be cautious because we're in an uptrend setup into an area of sellers. Dropping down to the 30 minutes, you guys can see what it looks like here, right? We hit the area, we pulled back down again, grabbed some more orders, made another valid attempt, hit it in just a wick, and immediately pushed back down again. Have a little bit of a gap, but we went lower. Obviously, we have formed a new downtrend. We have our red, green, reds. Again, a little bit of a gap. It is what it is. So again, we're going to be trying to. It looks like it's going to be trying to be pushing lower, especially after this candle. So we'll see if this continues its push down a little bit here. But again, this is a retest off of this area. It's not necessarily a new area. This will be attempt number 2. Targets anywhere on the downside. I think the best target would probably be here at 107.91. No, yeah, I need hotkeys. Okay, I will say, Quinn. Yes, Ninja does hotkeys, and it's great when you program the hotkeys into like a gaming mouse that has, like 9 buttons on the side. The only problem is when you have to change mice and you don't have those hotkeys, you're totally lost. I had my ruler and like a profit tool set in there, and I had to switch mice because the one got kind of messed up. And now I don't have those tools, and it drives me crazy. And I'm like, oh, I got to reprogram it. I got to reprogram it. So just know that, I love the hotkeys, but at the same time, it's like, no. So I may have to go buy, another, I have another mouse that's really, really good, but it's not programmed. So it's kind of one of those ones that's like, no, 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 right? But again, so for me, profit target down here, I only have 3 options for these. That's not bad. I can keep the size. Normally, when you change the size here, this gets funky. Yeah, I mean, there's some of the options in here are pretty nice. Yeah, I can't really. Oh, it doesn't move it automatically. That would have been nice. Or does it? No, it doesn't. Oh, yeah, it does, but it pauses. That's nice that it'll move the line. All right, that's not bad. That's not horrible. But this would be the overall target to the downside, the 107.91, okay, which is about about 30 pips from where we are right now to the downside. Your risk in this one, if you're using this as your zone, again, you can see, like I said, I am not a fan of this measuring tool. Your risk is about 12. Okay, so you're looking at about 12 for about, what I say, 36 to the downside, just under a 3 to 1. I just use one F1 through F12. Yeah, I'm not a big F key person, but yeah, I could use them. I have G keys also, but I don't use the G keys either. I tried Ninja when it gets good. No, it only did that because you made it that way. I do have a huge screen, Ernest. I have the ultra wides, so I have more than enough real estate. And again, I mean, you see it though. I mean, look, when I have this is not a big screen. This is just standard format, and I can have my 3 up there. Again, understand this is very, very much like TradeStation, guys. It's only as complicated as you make it. Okay? If you use one chart, not complicated, right? I mean, I could do the same thing here and just do everything on one screen. Not super complicated. Okay? Remember, just because it has the function doesn't mean you need to use the function. Okay? Now, I will say one thing that I do dislike, again, I'm all about pros and cons. One thing I do dislike about Ninja is the fact that these windows are movable. I wish it literally just had its own kind of desktop or workspace. That's something that TradeStation absolutely blows it out of the water with. Even Toss is better than Ninja as far as I'm concerned about that one. There are perks to it that you can drag it around and put it everywhere else, but for some reason they have this mentality that being able to drag a window anywhere you want is the best. But it's like, yeah, I could kind of do that before, but eh. Like I said, MT4 I can do these things as well. It's just the switching is a little bit different and the charts don't look as fancy. They're more of like a generic kind of look to them. So again, there's pros and cons with everything. Um, like I said, I'll mess around more with IG, and again, it looks pretty. It's great. It looks very, very basic. To me, this looks no different than just like kind of an upgraded like MT5 kind of format. That's it. But again, for streaming, I don't think this is the best right now because I can't make these numbers any bigger. If I can figure out how to make these bigger, then it'd be easier to stream because I'm sure you guys can't see these, right? I mean, I can barely see them where I'm standing, and I'm sure streaming it's probably even a little bit harder. I couldn't figure out how to put up a grid. I figured it's easy, but stumped me. The grid is in the lines? Like where is it? I hate grids. I take grids off of everything right away. And I figured out how to take the grids off this one. I even know. Here, oh yeah, see? You're talking about this grid? Like this? Like grids is in lines? Like multiple charts is in this? Oh, it's simple. From your control center, take your control center, hit new, and you go right in here. Chart. Boom. There's another chart. Resize it, put it anywhere you want. Change the format. Oops, not that one. Templates. Load. Um, there you go. See, not hard. You just gotta know how to do it. Then, if you want to link it, you just hit up here. See it says instrument link or interval link. Instrument link red. So now you guys see how it says all these other things. I have one of these up, a market analyzer, and market analyzer I have linked to the instrument red. So whenever I change one, it changes all of them, and that's how I change all my things at one time. I'll have them switching. See, you just gotta have a little bit of technology, guys. But yes, Ninja is an advanced charting platform. There is a lot more bells and whistles, a lot more stuff going on. So again, you got to be a little bit more careful with it. It will have a bigger learning curve, but it is an advanced platform. You can do a whole heck of a lot with it, and it is a step up from proprietary platforms or it's definitely much much farther ahead. I mean, there's all different types of things you guys can do in here. I mean, like even over here, when you start looking at the different types, I mean, you can do like candlesticks. I mean, you have all these things in here, right? Um, then you have minute charts over here. You can get into a little Hakanashi, a little fun with Hakanashi candles. Okay, and that's where things get real funky, right? But again, I mean, there's so much stuff you can do. Um, where is it? You know, so you can do there. You can do minute. You can do everything in here. There's all this kinds of stuff. There's volumetric based candles, volume candles, tick charts. I mean, there's so much stuff you can do in here. Again, just because it has all this complicated stuff, does that mean you need to do it? The answer is no. Just don't make it too crazy. Um, again, this F is pretty key. I got to readjust it. Unfortunately, I reset it back. 5 days will go to 500. Nope, not 5,000. I will blow it up. See, I typically like the slides. I don't like the scrolls as much, but they're all the same. Be careful with Chart Trader. I left it on one day and lost $200 because Dome was on. Thank God there was a bracket order stop. You have it actually, and Quinn, that's a great point. It actually, when I set the bracket orders up the first time, I kind of had them messed up. So I always recommend whenever you guys are using a new platform, always start in demo, make a bunch of trades in demo just to make sure you know how you're entering the positions correctly. Yeah, it's an expensive mistake. Yeah, I mean it's use what you want. Yep. So again, don't get crazy with it, guys. Is kind of what I'm saying, right? And like I said, I mean, I have multiple things all up at one time. I mean, like right now, I can have this going right now for IG, right? Um, and again, I'm pretty sure there's a way that I could kind of stagger all these things. I'm not sure how. I'm sure there's a way that. Oh, can I drag this? No. I'm sure there's a way to kind of cascade these things. Maybe here, maybe this button. No, I'm sure there's a way to do it. Oh, there we go. Yeah. It just took a sec. So yeah, so I could probably layer these and I could do the same thing here if I wanted to, right? Not change them and move them around. So yeah, I'm sure there's kind of there's notifications. I'm sure there's a way to kind of like in I don't have any platforms open, but you guys know how inside of MT4 you have the view functions and you can kind of change things around. When I finish using Ninja, if I want to watch it, I leave it on. You can. Plus has way too much stuff, and trying to go back in history is such a pain. I don't like how like all the, whatever they're called, the things like basically when you get locked into the different formulas and stuff. I just don't. I hate taking things off with Toss. It's just a pain. It has some functions that are nice, but it's long overdue for an update. Toss is not known as a charting platform. It's known as an options platform. It has the best options entering. If you're not trading options, you're doing it wrong. Go somewhere else. I'll tell you, Jack's not using Toss anymore, really. Eric doesn't trade on Toss. He only uses it because of the MLT stuff. It's good to be need degree to learn it all. Yeah, it's just got too much. It's just too complicated. No professional trader I know uses it. They use it to enter options positions. That's about it. So, all right. So with that being said, I will figure out probably how to do this. Like I said, they're kind of begging me to use this platform so we can kind of they can cross pollinate, I guess is the best word for it. Oh, maybe it's in settings, the things. No, it's not it. I'll figure out how to change this thing around, or I'll get them on the phone. But they want me to use this one, so he uses it for some of his charts, but he uses he's actually, somebody asked him the other day, and he said he's using Ninja. And again, if you guys want advanced charting, you guys should just use TradeStation. Because if you're trying to get funded through TopStep is also using TradeStation. So why not just use TradeStation, and they have better charting, and you can use TopStep and use it with your funded account. Problem solved. Good to go. So, all right, guys. It is 11 after 10. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go spend some time with the baby. She's crying for mommy, so daddy is going to go rescue her again. I will catch you guys tomorrow night. Any questions, shoot me a message. I am not dropping the kids at lacrosse camp tomorrow. I am picking them up tomorrow afternoon. So I'll be on in the morning. So hopefully we get some good movement. You know, I know James, and again, at this point, James has already thrown it out there. James already knows what the oil inventory numbers are. So make sure you guys send him a direct message on Discord to get those numbers early, get your trades in, get some money. It's all about Dairy Queen. Which one is my favorite? Um, Probably it's kind of hard. That's a great question. I'm going to answer that one and then I'm going to bolt. As far as pure charting goes, like for me to teach with, I prefer, like I said, I think TradeStation is the easiest to kind of chart with. When you're teaching all asset classes, I think as far as entering trades, I think it's very very simple. Setting OCOs and OSO orders is probably one of the simplest platforms. It's very very clear. I don't necessarily like the chart trading. Options trading is funky over there. I think as far as beginner platforms, if you're brand new, you're starting off. I think everybody should understand how to use MT4 because it's so widely used everywhere. It is basic, but if you can trade with basic, you can trade with complicated. FXCM is another platform, although it's currency based only. It's really, really difficult the first couple times you play with it because it is so much different than everything else, but it's easy. Ninja, very, very complicated. I had a bigger learning curve on Ninja than I did with TradeStation, but I also feel like there's so much more that I can learn on Ninja that would make me a better trader. That it's one of those things that, I'm constantly like, okay, what can I learn new here? What will help me even more on this? Um, so that's probably my answer. You know, if you're new, I would say, again, I think you need to know multiple platforms. But I will say that Ninja is definitely, as I'm understanding more and more and more about it, I see the benefits of having one platform that is truly advanced that again, you can trade everything at. I know you can do that at toss, but it's not really a currency platform. You're paying more, um, and just the charting is nowhere near as good. Um, I like how Ninja is open source. I really, really like how Ninja is kind of an open platform that multiple brokerage firms can use. But yes, everybody message James tomorrow. He will give you the oil inventory report numbers early because he said he already has them from tonight. You know what I mean. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys again for coming tonight, and hopefully we get some more movement tomorrow, and hopefully I get a charting platform that works so I can kind of share everything with you guys. Maybe we'll do this one tomorrow. Mess around with this one. We're trying to see if Nadex is or if IG will give me a live platform, so I don't have to switch things around. So have a good night, guys. Take care, and I will see you tomorrow.